Liberia's President Dr. Samia Kanyando receives a special message from his Malian counterpart, President Moussa Traoré.
President Samuel Kanyando's call for support to the national team, the Lone Star, gains momentum.
ELTV Week in Review, summarizing major news development of the past week. The details in just a moment. Tapping the review tonight, the Malian Justice Minister, Mr. Umar E. Sikaba, during the week under review, delivered a special message from the Malian President Moussa Traoré to Liberia's President Dr. Samia Kanyando at the Executive Mansion in Monrovia. An Executive Mansion press release said the content of the message was not disclosed, but is centered on matters relating to the sub-region and the Organization of African Unity.
The Malian Justice Minister, who spoke through an interpreter, lauded the friendly relations between Liberia and Mali, adding that he has been sent here by the Malian President, His Excellency Moussa Traoré.
I would like to thank you for many reasons. First of all, because we have been impressed by the brotherly welcome extended to us since our arrival. First of all, at the airport, where we have been welcomed by the security officer, the head of the security officer of the airport, and also because of the welcome extended to us and the feeling of brotherhood expressed by my brothers, the Minister of Justice and the Foreign Minister. This is not surprising to me, because when you know of the organization, the political organization you have in your country, and your good sense of organization and cooperation, so it is not surprising for me to have been the object of such solicitude. Mr. President, I've been sent by your brother and friend, General Moussa Traoré, the President of the Republic of Mali, to carry this message to you.
For his part, the Liberian Chief Executive assured the Malian Justice Minister that Liberia and Mali will remain good friends, and that he was very pleased to receive the message.
Liberia has been making some dramatic headway in soccer. The national soccer team, the Lone Star, recently held the Black Stars of Ghana to a goalless draw in Accra in the first leg match of round 1 of the 1990 World Cup Elimination Series. The Lone Stars' performance immediately sent waves of happiness to the Liberian sporting community. The national team, during the weekend review, returned home amidst a colorful welcome ceremony at the Rabat International Airport.
This is the official arrival of the Liberian national team, the Lone Star from Accra, Ghana. On Sunday, August the 7th, the Lone Star of Liberia played a marvelous game against the Ghana Black Star of Ghana. The result of that game was 0-all, an indication of the improvement of football in Liberia.
Hundreds braved the bad weather to welcome the Lone Star back home. LFA's Cletus Watterson praised the team for its performance and said Liberia is ready than ever before to make the impossible possible. Speaking on behalf of the team, Captain Mike Gibson called on the public and private sector for more assistance. Captain Gibson said with such support, Lone Star will not only eliminate Black Stars of Ghana, but will qualify for the World Cup Games in 1990.
I want us all to sit together, the officials find out what are our problems, what should be done for national team, and then I think you will have better result than this. I want us here, I want everyone here to rally around the national team for the second leg.
Youth and Sports Minister Haven Grisby, who was filled with joy, said preparations are now being made by his ministry to ensure Lone Star's victory on August the 21st.
Special thanks and appreciation to my boys Somewhere there they have gotten displeased with me for the fact that I made remarks that I was not satisfied with their performances. Maybe I told them that I was satisfied with their performances, maybe we would not have received the result that we have received today.
The special representative of the president, Mr. John Bear, officially welcomed the team back home.
You should be happy because Liberia, in the field of sports, we have been having problems with the Ghana national team and the Ivorian team. You are moving forward to glory by virtue of drawing with Ghana team on the Ghana side.
Now that the first leg match has been played in Accra, Ghana, sport analysts are not suggesting that the Ministry of Youth and Sports, the Liberia Football Association, technical and the coaching staff of the Lone Star consolidate their efforts together for the possible elimination of Black Star on the 21st of August 1988, something that has never happened in the football history of Liberia.
Sports no doubt cannot be developed in isolation. In keeping with President Samuel Kanyando's continued call for national support to the Lone Star, the Director General of the Liberia Broadcasting System, Mr. Alhaji Kuma, openly pledged $3,000 to the national team as it prepares for its return match against the Black Stars of Ghana.
Simply to identify with the efforts being made by the Chief Patron of Sports to develop sports, especially football in Liberia. And we are particularly aware and sensitive because we happen to be identified with one of the leading teams in the country. The management, the board of directors of LBS have asked me therefore to come forward to inform the Minister of Youth and Sports and the players that we are making available for the direct use of the players a check to be picked up tomorrow morning by the captain of the football team in the amount of $3,000. Thank you very much.
Meanwhile, sports analyst Willie Knuckles, who watched the game in Ghana, has urged the Lone Star to exert all efforts to prepare for the second leg match.
We shouldn't let this draw game go to our head. We should prepare very seriously for the return match. The last 2 days in Accra, those of us who have contacts within the sports community, we have found out that the Ghanaians are reinforcing. They brought in 3 semi-professionals from Gabon for this match. I don't know whether those will still be there because they didn't do too well in the match, except for Mohamed Polo in the second half. But understand they are bringing in 3 of their professionals from Europe and maybe 2 semi-professionals from Abidjan. So we know that traditionally the Black Stars play better away from home. So we have a very tough return match. We shouldn't take it for granted.
Mr. Knuckles, you were in Ghana. Exactly how was the situation like after the game, especially in the Liberian community?
Well, as things would have it, we had no security problems. There was no hostility towards the players and the spectators by the Ghanaian public. In fact, there was a lot of admiration expressed for P.U. Besma and some other players. The Liberian community in Ghana played a major role in this draw game. The ambassador and his staff, they met us on arrival, and the boys ate at the ambassador's residence 3 times a day. We all went there whenever we wanted to. But on the day of the match, the entire Liberian community in Ghana was mobilized. So we had almost an entire section of the stadium to ourselves. And the singing of the Lone Star, the national anthem, it was almost as if you were in Monrovia.
Meanwhile, the national team has gone directly on camp to prepare for the second leg round 1 return match on August 21 at the Samuel Kanyando Sports Complex in Peaceville.
It was not all to it. The government of Liberia also stepped in, contributing $100,000 to the growth of the national team. The amount, according to the president, is in keeping with the Lone Stars' splendid performance against the Black Stars. As a further show of his support for the team, President Doe, who is chief patron of sports and LFA chairman, joined the Lone Star in an evening practice session at the SKD Sports Complex in Painesville. He spoke of the important role of sports in promoting the image of the country.
Well, first of all, on behalf of the government and peoples of this nation, I would like to, in this public manner, express our deepest thanks and appreciation to the coaches and members of the National Lone Star players for the wonderful job done in Accra, Ghana. Well, my involvement in sports is that when I was a teenager, I loved to play soccer. And so being a national leader this time, I think it is expedient that we all, as patriotic Liberians, to support our national team so that whenever they are out of this place or whenever they are playing here, they will bring victory to the country and the people of this nation. So mine, being a soccer player, has nothing to do with my official responsibility as president of this country. Nevertheless, as chairman of the Liberian Football Association, it's also my equal obligation to do whatever in my power to support the national team. So this is one of my reasons of supporting and playing with the national team so as to encourage them so that when any other authority comes here again, they will not let the country down.
I traveled with the national team to Ghana, and the Ghanaian press spoke highly of your involvement in sports. And one of the papers said if they had a president like President Doe, Ghana would go to the World Cup. What do you hope to see the Lone Star do?
Well, I'm not. I don't want to be too optimistic for the fact that football is. You cannot predict football because you can never tell what will happen. Because as you can see, we have just been practicing with the team, and if the luck is there, you can win. It's not a matter of who play professional football. The lead chance God gave you, if you utilize it, you take the game. And so we can't say we will beat Ghana or will not beat Ghana. Any mistake you make on the field of play, you down.
Finally, Mr. President, you seem every time you put in more time into the Lone Star, but sometimes we are disappointed, we are defeated. Why are you not discouraged?
Why? I mean, we're not supposed to get discouraged because, as I said, it's a game. Whenever you go to play a game, you must expect to lose or to win. So I don't want to criticize anybody here, but if the past administration put more effort into sport in this country, like we are being far from now. But in the past, they consider football player to be Krona people. And this is a game that carries the image of the country all over the world. So I think it is about time that we support the national team so that they can bring victory home. By sitting in our air-conditioned houses and criticize will not help this country. So I think the only thing we can do to support the Lone Star is by giving them our moral and financial, political support as well, so that when they leave from here, they will know that people behind them. And it is shameful that for a country like Liberia, 142-year-old, and we should be proud of our past records. So I think it is about time, and the time has come for the sports in this country to be improved and developed to any level compared to any other Brazilian team or any other soccer team in this world.
Thank you very much.
The president had earlier promised the Lone Star $10,000 on behalf of himself and his family. That pledge was fulfilled during the week under review when the Minister of State for Presidential Affairs, Mr. Alvin Jones, presented said amount to the Minister of Youth and Sports, Mr. Haven Grisby.
3 checks. The first check is for $10,000, which is the president's personal contribution from him and his family.
Thank you.
The next is a check of $300 from the Federation of Transport Union. And the other is a check of $500 from the General Manager of Samuel E. Incorporated.
Responding Youth and Sports Minister Mr. Haven Grisby thanked Minister Jones for the contribution and hoped that other humanitarian organizations in the community will contribute for the welfare of the national soccer squad.
We'll do all that we can to develop sports because we see that he has great interest in the development of sports in this country. This shows the interest that the president has in the young people of Liberia. And we that he has appointed to these positions, we will do all that we can to justify the confidence that he has reposed in us. We can assure the president that whatever funds generated for the development of the team will be used directly for that purpose. This we can assure him, because the national team is our business and we must do everything to bring our victory to our country.
It would appear that the president's call for open support for the Lone Star was being received well. The Vice President, Dr. Harry Monima, himself visited the sports complex and pledged his support for the Lone Star.
In that draw alone with Ghana Black Stars, put Liberia squarely on the football map of Africa, if not the world. Because very often, maybe people come or teams come and say, well, we are going to Liberia, but that's not going to be much of a problem. They start thinking of other opponents to face. Having drawn with the Black Star, any team from anywhere coming here to play the Lone Star, we have to start scratching its head, as to what is going to happen in case they face our team here. Because they will know they are coming to meet men. Just for okay.
Receiving the amount, Captain Mike Gibson expressed thanks to Dr. Moneba for the contribution and said they will do their best on the day of the match.
We are not just wanting to play for Liberia because we can play. No, we want to play for Liberia and bring name to Liberia. And in so doing, we want the administration to send our places to train, to send our coaches to better areas of training. Let our players have insurance scheme. Let our players have some immunities that will encourage them to play better football. And so I thank you very much for coming to us. Thank you very much, sir.
Also making contributions to were Senator Wilmot Hammond of Grand Bassa County, $625, and the Sports Retro Association of Liberia, some foodstuff.
We'll be back with more developments on ELTV Week in Review after this break.
Let's go. You get that boy out of your way. Get that boy from you and that guy your way. You get that boy out. Get that boy from you and that guy your way. That you get them on move. In that in that content you are again. In that market money blue. Get that say party bad people way. In that party bad people way your way. In that content play can yeah. Get in there, get them on move. In that them job, I said to get them with them bad, they get to get them job, I said to get them with them bad, they get to get in that in the west, sunny in the west, sun get down in my car when he get by it, a kaja in the west, sunny in the west, sun get down in my car belly. In that he that content don't work again.
Students of the William V.S. Tubman College of Science and Technology in Harper, Maryland County during the week presented a statement of appreciation to the President, Dr. Samia K. Doe. The statement was received by the Minister of State without portfolio, Mr. John Bear.
The technical college students extended thanks to the Liberian chief executive and said since at the executive mansion was a peak moment in their life history.
We consider this gesture as a peak moment in our life and really was for the employment of 200 graduates from the Agriculture College of the University of Liberia by the Agriculture Ministry to help foster this noble and worthy cause. In this connection, sir, we are humbly appealing to you to afford us the same or similar employment opportunity. We can construct farm-to-market roads, install, maintain, and service road and farm equipment, design buildings, test soil, survey land, and perform other engineering services. Please, please help us.
Also in their statement, the students recalled a $60,000 donation made to the technical college by the president in 1985 and pointed out that that money went towards the purchase of 2 buses, a generator, and a water pump. Regrettably, the students said most of these facilities, especially the buses, have outlived their usefulness.
To alleviate these problems, please purchase 2 more buses for us. Further, our 2 dormitories have now reached their full capacity. In order to accommodate more boarding students, we are also appealing to you to construct at least 1 more dormitory with a minimal capacity of 150 students.
The statement was then presented to the Minister of State without portfolio, the Honorable John Bear. In a short remark, Minister Bear said he did not only consider the document as a statement of support, but also a statement of facts.
By naming some of the important things that the President is doing for the enhancement of this country, particularly so in educating the youth of the land, whom we are looking forward to be our leader of tomorrow. Rome was not being it. Some of these things cannot be done, but as I actually appreciate that you come every now and then with thanks, people will continue to necessarily you on behalf of the President. Thank you very much for the historical document that you have brought forward. I shall convey to the President a good sentiment mentioned in your statement and hand deliver to him and hear from him in due course with recommendation and request that you have made. I thank you very much.
President Monima has praised his government's contributions to the development of health services in Liberia. Dr. Monima was speaking during the week when his ambassador to Liberia called on
Ambassador Yan Sim extolled the cordial and friendly relations between the People's Republic of China and Liberia and their 2 peoples. He said since the establishment of diplomatic ties between the 2 countries, their relation has developed very satisfactorily.
China and Liberia both belong to the third world. We're all developing countries. And there exists a very cordial and friendly relations between our 2 countries and 2 peoples. And since the establishment of diplomatic relations between our 2 countries, our relations have developed very satisfactory in the political, economic, and commercial, and cultural fields. So I'm very happy because I can work on this basis already laid by my predecessors and with their government. And the moment I arrive on your soil, I was overwhelmed by the hospitality, the warmth of your government and your people. So already, although it's only 1 month after my arrival, I feel myself among friends. I feel quite myself at home.
Receiving Ambassador Yan Sing, Vice President Harry Monimba commended the Chinese government for the many assistance to Liberia through the bilateral relations between the two countries.
We are glad to know that your government and people have been very helpful, because we do know that they are running a very efficient hospital in Bomi, in Topmanburg in Bomi. And besides, there's also a clinic here in town, in Congo Town. But more than that, we have noticed that you have been very active in assisting this government in infrastructural development. There are other things we all would like to see develop. We want to make sure that this assistance program is maintained and continued. Might I add, on the basis of reciprocity.
Foreign Minister during the week hosted a reception in honor of the outgoing German ambassador to Liberia, Mr. Christian Nakons. The ceremony was held at the Foreign Ministry in Monrovia.
Speaking at the occasion, the acting Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. George Wallace, said since the establishment of diplomatic ties between the two countries, a considerable number of economic benefits have been realized, and all ambassadors who have been accredited near this capital have ably articulated the views of the Federal Republic of Germany.
Your 2.5 year of assignment here has been a marked extension of cooperation between our two countries in the fields of education, health, planning, agriculture, history, electricity, and water, some of the key areas of priority of the Liberian government. We also recall in this connection the recent visit to Liberia of a West German trade delegation, which should help strengthen further the historical ties of friendship and mutually beneficial cooperation between our two countries.
Ambassador Nakons was later admitted into the Immune Order of African Redemption with the rank of Knight Great Band by the acting Chancellor of the Order on behalf of President Samuel Kanyando. Responding after his admittance into the order, Ambassador Nakon thanked President Doe and the Liberian people for the honor and promised to always visit Liberia in the future and contribute whenever it is necessary.
I leave quite a number of friends behind, and I carry with me very fond memories. And I shall also in the future closely follow Liberia's development and hope to be able to contribute personally in my small place to your further achievements.
Ambassador Nakons now go to Pakistan as the next German ambassador to that country.
The outgoing German ambassador was gunned by Internal Affairs Minister Edward Sako as honorary paramount chief of Saklepe Ma Chiefdom in Nima County.
Speaking at the ceremony, Internal Affairs Minister Edward Sako praised the outgoing German ambassador Mr. Christian Nakons for his many contributions to the national development of Liberia. Minister Sako made special reference to the Nima County Rural Development Project sponsored by the Liberian and German governments.
Mr. Ambassador, you are leaving our country at a time this country needs you most. As you go back to your noble country for reassignment, we wish you God blessing. And now I have the honor to admit you to one of the highest order of our additional value system by honoring you on behalf of the President, Kanyando, the government and people of Liberia as Honorary Parliamentary of Febreman, Chidon, Nimba County, Republic of Liberia, with all the rights and privileges appertaining thereto.
Then came the garland ceremony, performed by the officials of the Internal Affairs Ministry. In remarks, Ambassador Nakongs thanked Minister Sako for the honor bestowed upon him.
You know that this project has been as the best of its kind at the conference in Harare, where 10 such projects have been presented, and this has been voted to the best one. Of course, nothing and everything can still be improved, but of course, from time to time, we can look at what there is both the Liberians and the and people from other nationalities working there can look at what they have done with pride and satisfaction.
The outgoing German ambassador thanked the government and Liberia for the cooperation he received during his tenure here.
The governments of Liberia and Japan have signed an agreement under which the Japanese government will provide $5.2 million for the purchase of additional diesel generators for the Liberia Electricity Corporation, the LEC.
Signing for the Liberian government was the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. J. Rudolph Johnson, while the Charge d'Affaires at the Japanese Embassy in Monrovia signed for his government. Speaking after the signing ceremonies, Liberia's Foreign Minister Rudolph Johnson said the gradual economic and social growth of Liberia, to which the government of Japan is contributing, underscores the friendly ties existing between the two countries.
Liberia continues to place a very high premium on its relations with Japan, and shall thus seek to further strengthen and promote these relations, especially in the technical and economic fields, and against the background of your government's global assistance program to developing countries. In this connection, I must repeat here my call on your government made earlier this year to continue to accord special consideration to Liberia. I said then, and I quote, "Considering Japan's strong economic position not just in the Far East but in the world as a whole, and Liberia's current economic and financial crisis, and taking into account the fact that Liberia is neither a part of the Francophone community nor a member of the British Commonwealth, our country finds itself in a unique position for increased Japanese assistance, both official development assistance and through private sector investment."
Responding for the Japanese government, the Charge d'Affaires, Mr. Tomohiro Ashaido, said his government was happy to identify with Liberia in alleviating the frequent power outage experienced especially during the dry season.
Under this agreement, for which exchange of notes have just been signed, the government of Japan will extend to the government of the Republic of Liberia a grant of 682 million yen, roughly $5.1 million, to be used mainly for purchase of a diesel generator and supplementary equipment for the Bushrod Island Power Station of the Liberia Electricity Corporation.
The total amount of grant for phase 1 of the project is $10 million to be provided by the Japanese government to the Liberia Electricity Corporation.
Contributions for the 39th birth anniversary celebrations of President Samuel Doe to be held in Maryland County are said to be forthcoming. The contributions were received the chairman of the birthday committee, Senator Huddleston.
Minister of State without portfolio, Mr. John Bear, made a contribution on behalf of Mr. Caron.
We have received from the hands of one of our Liberian Consul General in Ottawa, Honorable Charles Caron, a check of $5,000. We here ask the Minister of State without portfolio to deliver to the Maryland citizen for the birthday. And you did it. General, I take the pleasure of handing you the check, and I hope and trust that you will do everything that lies within your power to make the 4th birthday a great success. Thank you very much.
On behalf of the citizens, the superintendent, the citizens of Maryland County, I want to extend our deepest appreciation and thanks for this magnanimous gesture. I want to assure you, Honorable Bear, that this money will be utilized for the purpose of which it was intended.
Maryland County is one of Liberia's oldest counties. The county will be the venue of Dr. Doe's 39th birth anniversary celebration, since it was passed into law by the National Legislature for the 6th of May each year to be celebrated as a national holiday. Mangibie County was the first venue for the celebration.
Citizens of Mangibie County have disassociated themselves from the recent petition presented to President Samuel Kanyando by some citizens of the county calling for the removal of the county superintendent, Mr. Amos Bond.
Mr. President, a few unknown citizens whose identity we have yet to ascertain or authenticate will petition you with all the endorsement of the chief, elders, local officials, and citizens to have the super whom we were please move to office. We do, Mr. President, dissociate ourselves from the so-called petition of these renegades who pose to be true to the development of Mangibie and reaffirm our relentless support to the administration of Honorable Amos Bond, Superintendent of Mangibie, until you appointed him as our superintendent, deem it expedient to have him removed and pledge keeping with the constitutional right.
Receiving the petition, the thank the citizens orderly manner presented the views and promised to present the petition to President Samuel Kanyando on their behalf.
Government is by the people, of the people, and for the people. Now you are the government, and you have the right to petition the government so that your livelihood will be very decent and the upliftment of your own will be determined by your own self. So say you want a leader, that you want, nobody can say no. But before I say anything, finally I want to ask. They prepare your so for me to carry them. I want to find out whether it the superintendent force you. No. The superintendent don't for you? No. If it force you, come and ask your attorney. No. I don't want I go say the president. Hey, you know say, oh, they give necessary. And now so. That was it so? No.
Health and Social Welfare Minister Mrs. Martha Belle has praised the Chinese government for its continued assistance to Liberia. She made the commendation during the week at a reception her ministry tendered in honor of the outgoing and incoming Chinese medical teams to Liberia.
We are pleased to say that the services of the medical team have been very commendable. The introduction of acupuncture into the healthcare delivery system of Liberia has not only overwhelmed our people, but also brought medical relief to many. More importantly, the health standard of the county and of course the community of Bombing has improved considerably. We therefore seize this opportunity to express profound gratitude to the outgoing medical team. Certainly, the people of Liberia, especially Bombing County, will forever cherish their sacrificial and dedicated services rendered during their 2-year tour of duty. With the same token, we also welcome the new medical team to Liberia and hope their services will add to the already solid foundation which has been laid by their colleagues.
The new Chinese ambassador to Liberia, Mr. Sao Yen Shin, praised the cordial relations subsisting between China and Liberia. He assured Minister Belle of his government's fullest support and cooperation in order to meet the health needs of the Liberian people.
Between the Chinese people and the Liberian people, there exists a traditional friendship. China and Liberia are both third world countries, and we are faced with the common task of safeguarding world peace and economic development. We sympathize with each other. The Chinese government attaches great importance to South-South cooperation, and it also attaches great importance to its bilateral relations with Liberia in particular. So our government is willing to explore new forms and new areas of cooperation with the Liberian government on the basis of equality, mutual benefits, and common progress.
House Speaker Mr. Samuel Hill was among other distinguished personalities who attended the program. Speaker Hill, who is also the citizen of Bomi County, where the new Chinese medical team will take up assignment, welcomed the team to Liberia.
Agriculture Minister Scott has suggested in schools the cultivation of cash crops such as coffee and cocoa to generate needed foreign exchange and to become self-supporting. Minister Toa was speaking in Bon County when he and other government officials inspected agricultural activities of the Rural Evangelism Association of Liberian School System.
We want to simply add and suggest to the school some of the things that you can do in agriculture in order to be self-sufficient, not only in food, but also in the money economy. We want to suggest that you try to plant some coffee every year so that you will be able to have money to support the school.
The agriculture minister then promised the students seeds and farming equipment and spoke about plans for establishment of a tomato processing plant in Buchanan-Grambassa County. Education Minister Othello Gonga, who went on a tour of the school, spoke about the adoption of agriculture in the school system.
We intended to phase agriculture into the schools on a county-by-county basis. So for this year, we were starting with Nimba. And so we have all of the elementary schools in Nimba County are now teaching agriculture. I've adapted it and we intend to make it a national curriculum.
The founder of the Ministry of Hope, Bishop Augusta Mawe, said he hoped that the vision of the school will go nationwide.
A unique occasion for us, a special one for which we will be grateful to God for a long time. For this moment mark a new beginning for the people of Bon County, yes, and for the people of Liberia. I consider it an historic occasion because it is I consider a beginning of what God is going to do not only for Kankalata or Bon County, but for the entire Republic of Liberia.
An official of the People's Church in Canada, Mr. Garnet Martin, promised his organization's support to the school. Later, representatives from LOIC, the Ministry of Planning, went on a tour of the farm project.
Archbishop Michael Francis of the Catholic Diocese recently celebrated his 25-year service in the priesthood. A special program was held to mark the occasion.
prominent citizens, relatives, and friends brought color to the program with the presence of Bishop Nicholas Grimley, who ordained Archbishop Francis several years back. In a Silver Jubilee response, His Grace Archbishop Francis thanked the dead and the living who has made an impact on his life.
I should like first of all to thank Almighty God for making this day possible. And I should thank for the recess of my heart all of you present here, for your presence here indicates your appreciation for what we stand for, that is God's will. I'm very much appreciative of this. And again, I want to thank you most sincerely.
The special representative of the President of the Republic of Liberia, Dr. Harry Moniba, expressed the inability of the attendance of Dr. Samuel Kanyando to the program.
The President would have loved to be here tonight with the Archbishop and all fellow Christians to commemorate this remarkable event. Remarkable because 25 years in any individual's life working in the vineyard of the Lord and caring for his flock is no small time. With a little bit of luck, that's about 1/3 of the time hopefully human beings are supposed to live. Some people are lucky, they live to be more than 100 or so. But for the majority of the people, 75 years or so is quite enough.
Well, finally, the capping and admittance ceremony of freshman students of the Tottenham National Institute of Medical Art has taken place in Monrovia. The project director of the Liberia Rural Communications Network, Mrs. Florida Cricket, served as guest speaker.
Mrs. Cricket urged the Liberian people to fight against the deadly disease AIDS. She said the call for health for all by the year 2000 will fail if AIDS is allowed to spread in the country.
Liberia has meager and limited resources available for health care, and in most other developing countries has a great challenge. As you are being accepted in your course of study as physician assistants, environmental specialists, or sanitary inspectors, or midwives, and others being kept as nurses, be mindful of the fact that you have a great challenge before you. You have to be fully committed to the job. You have to make great efforts and sacrifices to be the best in your vocation. You will be expected to perform many miracles when there are no drugs, no medical equipment, no beddings, not enough food for the patients. You'll be expected to assist in making these sick people well.
The students were later presented to the Deputy Chief Medical Officer, Mr. Martina Johnson, by the Administrator at the TNIMA, Mrs. Jessie Duncan.
There are many obstacles that you will encounter. There are many hard roads to travel ahead of you. There will be many points where you become very discouraged. It is one of the most cherished and honored professions, but yet you will find at the end of the road, you will feel discouraged because it's one of those professions I personally felt have never received in this country the attention that profession deserves.
The pinning ceremony was performed by Dr. Robert Poto, Chief Medical Officer of Liberia, Mr. Hilton Parkinson, former Director of School of Environmental Health, and the conferring of nursing caps was performed by Mrs. Mary Bropley, Chief Nursing Officer of Liberia.
Well, there we end this edition of ELTV Week in Review.
Join us tomorrow Monday when we begin a brand new week of ELTV Action News.
I'm Aaron Cully.
I'm Victoria Christopher.
Good night.
Good night.
Jala and who race for the Senate. The results will tell.
But another person who's been talked about much, they played Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Sirleaf was in the news when she reportedly acted recently following her conviction of sedition. Now she's back, having been nominated for Montserrat Halad just a few days after her conviction. If she wins, if she runs, it is hard to see. What we can do is that Black has been counting on sympathetic vote to Mrs. Sirleaf in the Senate. Sirleaf will also most likely, if she stays in the race, draw a lot of support.
The Reflections.
Opon was at his former high school, Wells Helston, yesterday, where he presented a set of football jerseys and several balls to B.W. Harrison for the children.
Who I want to be like George Opon we are? You want to be like George Opon we are, the secret behind Opon we are? If you want to be like me, don't drink, don't smoke. Be respectful and have courage.
Opon also gave jerseys to the Invincible 11 team on Survivors, the first team he played with IU.
Oh, well, Jesse, I would like to give my thanks and appreciation to the President for promoting sports and for making it possible for us to win our matches and making for the Liberian soccer to improve. I mean, the Liberian people should try to help him for the team to go far. I think if they support the president, they will always improve in Liberia.
Opon calls the Lone Star team when they play their matches in Kenya and Malawi in August. Jassy Burfi for ELTV News.
The Reflections.
Turning over the key of the project to Agricultural Minister Mr. Joseph Barker was the Danish Consul General to Liberia, Mr. Fan Anderson. Mr. Barker then commented on the role of the Liberian government in the project, followed by a comment by the Superintendent of Bon County.
Well, the role of the Liberian government, firstly, is to make the land available. Secondly, is to recognize the relation between us and our Chinese partners. And we have been responsible for mostly on the Liberian side providing salaries of the Liberian technical experts here.
The Reflections.